Hello, good evening, family. Good evening, family. This is your boy, Pastor Santa Cameau. This is The Real World with my co-host, my brother, my man.
What's up, y'all? We welcome you to the 16th episode of third season of The Real Word. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. We love y'all for supporting. Shout out to everybody that followed us on Instagram at thewalltv. That's on Instagram at thewalltv. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on television every Thursday at 4 p.m. on the Brick Network. This Thursday, my sister will be on television. So it'll be me, Sanders, and my sister Sophia. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting us on the YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/C for channel /The Real Word TV. So shout out to you, and shout out to everybody that's watched last week's episode. I believe we did 26,000 views on the Facebook. So shout out to you, and shout out to everybody that's been supporting the movement. We thank you, we love you, and we thank you for all your support. And as always, if you want to donate, GoFundMe.com /The Real Word. But we're here with a very special guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Serge Honore.
So shout out to Serge Honore. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, sir.
Well, I'm married and I have 3 kids. Well, one is older now. He moved out, but I have twins. My younger son, he has autism. So that's something that we deal in as a family. He's 11. His sister's 11. My daughter. She's really not on the spectrum. She goes to a regular school, but he goes to a special school that helps him deal where he gets therapy, and because he's a nonverbal. So he doesn't say words really. You got to encourage him to say words, and those type of situation is struggle. It's difficult dealing with those type of things, but we love him to death. I love him to death, and there's nothing I would not do for him. And my daughter, I love her to death, And my wife, she works in the educational system, and I go to church, and I work for myself, and I try to work and help the people within my community and within my church.
So shout out to you, sir. And we're going to get more to what it is that you do for a living. Sanders, what's up? Do you have anything to tell the people to welcome them to the show?
I'm just sharing the things first, but continue. Sorry.
All right. So, Brother Honore, you said that you work within the community to help the people, right? I know earlier you said you do real estate, but you also help people with their finances as well. So explain that to the people.
Yes. Well, like I said, I'm a real estate agent, so I help people rent and find homes. Right. I'm more working in the home section because the rentals is very difficult because in Brooklyn, apartments are extremely expensive, and a lot of people cannot afford to be able to pay the price that they pay, because we understand that gentrification is going on. And
so wait, let me ask a question: is it cheaper to rent or own a home in Brooklyn right now?
I would say it's cheaper to own a home, and you be paying around the same for the mortgage. Compared it to the rent, because you're paying.
That's a fact. But then you need the down payment money too.
You need
that's
the
a hurdle for a lot of people.
Yeah, it hurts the pocket because you have to come up front. Sometimes they want not just the down payment, but the credit. Your credit has to be on par.
That's a fact.
In order to get and to be considered for that apartment. And one of the things is that they do is that they eliminate people by their credit.
Exactly.
They
say you got to make 40 times the rent, right? Or
yes,
like that.
Exactly. So you have to, and then if you don't have that, you have to have a co-signer or guarantor.
Exactly.
In order for that person to get those, to be able to rent. But then, how many people really gonna sign?
Do that? Yeah. Because worst come to worst, if that person don't pay, then they could take you to housing court and mess up your credit.
Exactly. So a lot of people, they find trouble in finding that, and these people are hard workers. But a lot of that falls too because of the miseducation of us understanding how money works and how does the system work. We move from a cash society to a credit society.
Of course.
And a lot of people are still not making that transition. They're not understanding how things work. And so we're making a lot of errors along the way, and it bites us later on.
But that's the old school mentality. Like, I know my parents, and I don't know about your parents, but back in the days, like, oh, don't take credit card, they're bad. They're bad, they're going to put you in debt. Don't take credit, always pay cash. And then we see as we got older, credit became more and more important. Yes, there's times when you could take credit cards, you could end up in debt if you're not responsible with the credit card and you're just swiping your whole life away and you don't check your APR and you make the minimum payments and then you end up in debt. And then before, like say for example, you borrowed 300 and you got a double digit APR. Before you know it, you owe 600. Then before you know it, you end up 12 and you're only making what, $12 an hour. You end up in debt. You know, but if you maintain your credit at a certain level and you get to the high 700s or something like that, then everything opens up to you. Every day you get offers in the mail.
Yeah, but I consider credit like a catch-22. You can't underspend and you can't overspend. It's like you say, if you get basically a 300 credit score, a 300 credit limit on your credit card, you get one. And you're like, wow, I got 300 to spend. No, you don't. Exactly. You don't have 300 to spend. You have 150 to spend. And if you go that, then your liability. So that's when your interest and all of that is going to be high. And then if it's too low, if you're not spending, then they say, oh, you're not spending, so we can't trust you. So you have to be conscientious and you have to be deliberate in what you're doing. And even though people are getting more educated on it, but people are still buying into the buy now and pay later. But life is happening. Things happen.
Facts.
Things breaks down. Kids get sick. you lose your job. Things happen. So you have all the good intention to go do that. But when life happens, what happens? Then you go to try to borrow.
Exactly. Some people borrow, they can't pay back.
You can't pay back. It's not that you're not intending to pay back, but then you borrow to pay this one. And like I said, I know
from Peter to pay Paul.
Borrowed from Peter to pay Paul. I was worse. I borrowed from all 12 disciples. I went to Jesus. Jesus said, "Wait a minute, you're not trusting me. What's going on?"
You made it out, my brother. You made it out.
So no. Well, I'm still on a path to better myself and understanding the system and how it's work and find the programs that's going to educate me on what I need to do. I think as a people, especially nowadays, because the economy is not going to get better. As a real estate agent, you understand the economy will crash again.
Of course. Especially with this government shutdown. Because the government shutdown kind of put us in debt, I heard. It put the economy back a couple $2 billion. Because during that time when the government was partially shut down, a lot of things could not function regularly, which means a lot of money was lost. They said eventually the economy will recover, but there's still funds that it will never make back in the excess of over $3 billion.
Yeah, the economy will never catch up to the debt that we owe.
Why is that?
It's too much.
It's too much. Just the interest fees alone is killing. We in the trillions.
Yeah, and what's crazy, what a lot of people don't know, the collateral for the debt that America owns is us. And that's why every time you're born, you're assigned a social security number, and that's the claim that the government has for their debtors, that we're going to pay you back. Because with your social security number, that's what you do everything. When you get a job, that's your social. And what do you do when you get a job? You pay taxes. Wow. So
that's another deep level you're going to, bro. That I found out about that. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, that's another deep level. That's a whole topic could go on that alone.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't know this. If you go to Manhattan, Midtown, there's a giant clock. There's a giant clock. No, sorry, it's not a giant clock, but it's a giant calculator, and it shows how much debt that the American economy owes. Well, the American people, because we owe that debt.
We owe that debt.
So it's like every second you see the money go up, more and more and more and more, and it doesn't stop. It does not stop.
Tell me that we would never pay that back. We can never pay that back.
We could never pay that back.
But as long as there's new Americans being born or getting social security numbers, someone's going to pay it.
Right. All right. Do you know countries that has been in debt and that has got out of debt?
I would say maybe Haiti at one point, because remember after Haiti won their independence, they owed that to France and Great Britain and Spain, and they eventually paid that back. Recently,
yeah, that's the reason Haiti fell into the third world status.
Exactly.
Because of the debt that they didn't need to pay back
at all, and also too, I'm saying, also too, I'm saying, insult, about us killing white people and burning their houses and all that, I'm saying.
Yeah, that was. Well, that's another topic.
That's another topic. Another
Yeah.
topic.
So, but that's something that has brought Haiti down because it wasn't for the best of the country, and the decision that was made at that time for whatever reason didn't benefit Haiti at all. And we understand that Haiti was blackballed, so trades and all the stuff that was happening, and Western goods that was coming over was putting farmers and businesses out of business, and so they was buying the cheaper product, but they was losing at the same time.
Yeah. And they couldn't export or import any goods, so basically they were stuck selling to each other. Okay, so as of December 31st, 2018, the national debt is currently at $21.97 trillion. Congratulations, America, you played yourself.
And then you got to ask yourself this question. This is the debt we in, but there are people in this country who are thriving and making a lot of money. Why is that?
Why is that?
If we get deep into it, those are the individuals that bought themselves back. Like, they cracked that code and they gained that knowledge, and that's why they call it freedom. Remember, Jay-Z raps about this all the time. He said, financial freedom, they said it, she was like, my great-great-grandkids are rich. You understand? So they were able to buy the freedoms of their whole generation, and that's what they call generational wealth, because wealth could never be made in a lifetime, unless you hit the lottery or something like that. But most of the time it's passed down from family to family, family to family. That's why these rich and powerful families, they used to interbreed with each other at one point to keep the money in the family. Even royal bloodlines used to interbreed with each other. Like they'll marry a second or third cousin sometimes, or sometimes even their sister sometimes. And just to keep the money in the family, just so other people wouldn't run off with their money.
That's real.
As you were saying, it passed down, but that next generation had to accept that knowledge to continue it. And you have to continue, build on that knowledge, and that's how that generation of wealth continues.
Wow.
Because you're given that information, understand how to use it and how properly to use it. But in this country, there are a lot of reasons because we are being distracted, and understand that we have opportunity to do so many things.
Wow.
But why are we not doing it? Why are we not doing it? And I was pondering that a lot, and including myself, especially for blacks. One of the things is fear, because when you've been burnt, you've been going through a lot, and you see things happen, you become afraid. And fear is the ultimate paralysis when it comes to doing things. You're not going to do it.
Pass me that mic. Sorry, I just want to make sure it's off. Thank you.
Yeah, fear is a crippler. When you ask somebody, say, "Oh, let's do something." Yeah, I know, but I don't have money, or it's always something that's keeping you back. You're afraid. But people who are not fearful, they step forward no matter what.
That's why I say scared money don't make money.
Scared money don't make money. That's a good term too. That's true. Fear is a crippler. And knowledge, education, like you said, the generational, passing down this knowledge and using it to the time that we are in. I mean, there is a lot of money being made out here, but how come most Americans are broke or have bad credit? We have all the information there, but what we do is that the information is in segments. There's information here. People don't know how to put it together and utilize it effectively. You don't have a strategy to put all these into play, because you have information overload.
But we would not only say they don't know how to put the information together, they don't know how to put the people together. Because it's sometimes the people that carry certain information with them as well. Say, for example, you have a knowledge of a certain subject base that I might be weak in, but I have knowledge in a certain criteria or curriculum that I can bring to the table. But because of whether it be our differences, our egos, or whatever it may be, I'm not working with this guy. I don't feel like it. I'm going to do it on my own. Some people are like that. Instead of coming together, we mess it up. One time I was giving this Russian guy a ride, right? And he was going to the airport, and I picked him up from Staten Island. He lived in this nice gated community in his mansion, on the hill. You got to drive up a hill through the gated community, up the hill, and their houses in the hill, almost like steps. So he was talking on the phone with some guy, and he was like, "Yo, you know what? I never liked this guy from the very beginning, but he knows how to make money, so I just worked with him. So the house we bought together was an investment property. We bought it for like 10 mil. I put a little bit of money, but now I can pull my money out. I get $2 million. It's fine with me. And that's what he said. And he's like, that $2 million I could invest it into something else. And he hung up on that guy. He called it another guy. Yeah, I got a couple dollars I want to invest with you. And then he hung up on both of them. He was like, yeah, I don't like either one of these guys, but I like money. So what?
Well, you're right about that. And that's also understanding the bigger picture. A lot of people have very narrow views on things. And also, when you planning to make money, you got to expect to lose money.
Of course.
You know, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's what stocks is. Like stocks that goes up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, there's nothing that's 100% foolproof that you will never lose. And everything you try, relationships.
Of course.
Do you stop trying to date because you failed the first 4 or 5? No, you continue. People think, oh man, I messed up, or I messed up 5 times. No, I started to look at the people who are successful. Why do they make money? What are they doing? Are they that much special? Are they doing something that's different? And I started to realize they're not afraid. They're not afraid to lose.
It's consistency too. Consistency
Exactly.
is key.
Consistency. Have a goal, focus on it, and do the thing that's necessary. When you do the thing that's necessary, then progress will take place. But we are so distracted by so many things. Like with me, in order to right now to make my business, I said I got to do some things. So what I had to do, I had to stop the non-essential items. Because I go home, I watch some TV, watch the game, and what am I doing? I'm wasting time.
Yeah, of course.
I'm watching people, guess what? That's working.
Exactly.
We don't look at it, we like, well, that's entertainment. No, they working. They're making a fortune, but you just enjoy what they're doing.
That's real.
But they're working, and I'm sitting there watching them and helping them make more money while I'm sitting here, I need money.
T.I. said it best, my life is your entertainment, but I get paid off of it.
Exactly. So we have to do, you ever heard of the 80-20 rule?
No, explain that.
The 80-20 rule, they said that 20% of your efforts is going to make 80% of your profit, and 80% of your non-essential activities are going to give you 20% of your profit. Because if you notice that we don't do, even the clothes that you wear, you only wear mostly roughly about 20% of the same clothes over and over again.
Yeah.
The same shoes, the same way you go. You start, or you have different options, but you will always resort back to certain familiarity, and you will only stick with those.
Yeah, things that are easy to put on.
Right, so they're saying that 80% of the rules, a lot of successful people utilize that rule. Instead of doing all this thing, let me focus on the 20% and do those well, and then that'll shoot me over the top.
Wow. Yeah, I heard something like that of like Mark Zuckerberg. He has a bunch of the same clothes, so when it's time for him to get dressed, he don't got to worry about what to put on because all his clothes are the same. Just throws on the same hoodie, the same khaki pants, and the same sneakers. He go about his business. You don't got to worry about patterns and matching his designs or designers or nothing of that nature, you know? The only time we see him switch clothes is when he go to court.
It's not to complicate situation. Focus on what's necessary. What is prime example? The presidency. Donald Trump, how did he win? While everybody was politicking, going state to state, he went only to the states that was votes counted. He knows, focus on those states, and no matter what happened, popular vote, I don't care about that. But the states that had that votes that count, those are the states I'm going to target, and then at the end, he won because of those.
But you know another thing, he did more groundwork than Hillary, and also too, Hillary, unfortunately, thought that she was gonna get handed to it.
Yeah, because she was following the typical political route, kissing babies and not making promises, alluding to, we're gonna try to do better, we're gonna do this. Donald Trump was like, no, this is what's gonna happen. If this doesn't happen, he was like, oh my gosh, this guy is speaking my language. He knows what I'm going through. And people started, he understand the needs of the people, and he provided false promises, and to also whatever prejudice they may have, he fed into that, and then the people went into it, and then that's why he wound up winning the presidency.
Well, they said that most of the things that he promised, he did attempt to deliver, you could say.
Yeah,
He said he was going to try to remove Obamacare. He tried to do that. He started the legal process to repel Obama's law that allowed transsexuals or transitioning people into the military. He shut down the government for all those weeks over the wall that he wants to build, and that was his flagship campaign promise. And so, you know, he stuck to his guns. And speaking of failures, like we all know that he failed a bunch of times with businesses. He filed for bankruptcy a bunch of times. Walt Disney failed a bunch of times. Thomas Edison failed a bunch of times. All these people failed a whole bunch of times, but they found a whole bunch of times to fail, but through the failure, they became genius and found one way to succeed. And that's all you need, one way to succeed.
Yeah. And basically, your failures is an education and what you need to do next and how to do it. Your failures is what guides you and realize, you know, I made this mistake. I'm not going to do that again. Let me try it this way. It propels you to another level, because now you're thinking, you're strategizing, you're looking at situations, and that's what failure helps you to do. But a lot of us become reserved and, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to fail. So I'd rather stay where I'm at. And I find that a lot of people that I come across, a lot of people that they're not happy in their circumstances, but they rather stay there than step out.
Yeah, I could give an example of that. Like, I remember when we were younger, we used to rent houses, and the last place we rented, I believe, was in Bushwick, and I had a big family. Like, I come from a family of 6. So imagine 4 kids in the house with the landlord, and the landlord lived underneath us. He lived on the first floor. We lived on, I think, the second floor. So we would chase each other, play, fight, do all these things. Because, you know, Haitian parents don't let you out the house that often, so you got to have fun inside. So almost every house we went to, the landlord would complain, you got too much kids. Y'all mashing up my house. You're breaking up my house. This, that. So my dad was like, yo, I'm going to buy a house. My mom was like, are you crazy? You're going to buy a house? How? Like, how you going to buy a house, Mom? And my dad was like, no, I'm going to buy a house. She was like, what if we lose the house? What if this? What if that? What if that? My dad was like, no, we're going to buy the house. So one day, like, my mom was like, one day this guy just told me, come to closing. We were closing on this house. And then we ended up buying the first house. And I remember after the first house, my dad one day, he just woke up and said, oh, I'm going to buy a second house. I was like, are you crazy? Why you buying a second house? For your girlfriend? We already got one house. Why you need a second house? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I think he was like, blah, blah. And then she was upset because she's like, he's talking about he's going to borrow money on this house to buy a second house. For what? We already live in one house. Why you buy a second house? For your girlfriend, you have a second family or something? He's like, yo, your mom don't understand. Like, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this to leave them something. She don't understand. And
legacy.
Yeah, and then eventually, like, he got the second house, and then we moved into the second house, and we rented out the first house. So you know, as business. And then, like, now, like, she would talk about, yeah, this and that. We made something out of ourselves. And my dad was like, shut up. And then he was like, I remember when I was telling to you about it, you was like, no. And I wouldn't have did it. Because, you know, Haitian men, they're like all braggadocious and things of that nature. So,
you know, and a lot of time, if you think about it, when you're a kid, you have an imagination. A kid will say, I want to be an astronaut. Oh, I'm going to buy this car. You dream. Your dream is big, and there's nothing that tells you cannot do it.
of course.
But as you grow up,
People tell you can't.
right. But even though you say, I'm still going to do it, right. But as you grow older and life starts to beat down on you, you stop dreaming less, and you start to accept the lifestyle that you're in and feel that this is where I'm at. I can't go no more. I can't go no further.
You give up.
And then if you coming from a family that never achieved much,
That's a fact.
that plagues you a long life, and you follow through in that same repetitive cycle. That's why they always talk about you need to break that cycle. You know, if you're the first one to go to college or go to high school, whatever it may be, you have to. But it's not easy Because everybody around telling you, man, what you trying to do, man? Who you think you are? You know, going to school, get education. What's going on with that? Or you want to start your own business? What are you talking about, man?
That's what they told us, right, Sanders?
You know, and and then what they always say, you have to associate with people that's like-minded like you. You can't associate people that's constantly want to drag you down, you know. And that's how when I was growing up, this is, I started to meet people, and I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna try to do it. Yeah, nah, man, don't try that, man. Don't do this, man. Yeah, you have. And then I started to think along that line, like, how am I gonna do that? Let me tell you this one funny story. Like, my mom, she single mom now, raising us kids, we growing up, and I was working. Well, I wasn't a kid. I was a young man. I was like in my early 20s, and I was working at the hospital. I was a med tech. And then I was a phlebotomist med tech, and then so I had this nurse I used to work with. Her name was Miss Singh. She beautiful lady, but she used to always come to work, and she used to have bags, you know, carry her bags and everything. Then when I got to know her, she used to leave one job, go to the next. She used to work at different hospitals, you know, making money. I'm like, she's like, so yeah, you gotta. Then as I spoke to her more, then I started finding out she was making, like, she was just not making money, but she was buying up properties and buying this and renting out, and she was like a real businesswoman. But if you saw her, you wouldn't even think so. Come to find out, she went to the doctor, found out she had cancer, and she don't have much time to live. And so she was like, okay, she want to start, you know, liquidating some of the assets and stuff like that. So she was like, Serge, you're a nice guy, you know, I like working with you. You're always, you know, respectful and this and that. I want to sell you a house, you know. I got a house, I want to sell it to you. And I was like, great. She says, only a certain amount of money. So I was like, I went to my mom, I was like, Mom, I say in my job, she want to sell me a house. She was like, oh, we can't afford that. We can't barely pay the bills now. How are we going to afford? I said, yeah, but Mom, she's willing to work. And from that just turned me, I just started thinking, nah, I can't afford it. And she begged me, Serge, I will work with you. I'll do whatever it is. I was like, nah, I can't. Wow. And from that, I started to realize after that, she had passed and everything, I didn't even think of it much. And in a couple of years, I was working with a coworker of mine, and she was like, she had a house in when she was from Guyana. She said, oh, I got a house, I'm fixing it up. And I said, oh, it's cool, you got a house. She said, yeah, I bought it from Miss Singh. Wow. She gave me a real good price. Wow. And I went for it. I was like, you bought? She's like, yeah. I mean, she said, the house is beautiful. Oh, my gosh. And I'm like, and from that moment, I'm like.
In Brooklyn?
No, this house she bought in, she had overseas. She had in Guyana. Oh, she had houses in Brooklyn. She had properties. I mean, she was a real businesswoman. I respected her. But from that, and this was like 2-3 years later, wow. When their coworker told me, oh, she bought the house from her. She said she couldn't afford it, but she made it work.
She bought the house in Guyana? Or
yeah,
She bought the house from Miss Singh that was in Guyana?
Yeah, Miss Singh was up here, but she had property in Guyana.
Okay.
Right, she had property in Guyana. Wow. She had property in Brooklyn. She had properties in the Bronx.
But the house that she sold to the other lady that you was working with was where?
In Guyana.
Okay, cool.
So she bought it, but I was like, you bought a house from her? She was like, she said, I just worked it out. She gave me a really good deal, and because she was dying, so she was trying to liquidate some of the assets and leave for her kids and stuff like that. And I was saying, and I sat there and I was like, and then I started to look back at all the opportunities because people put things in your head.
Exactly.
People tell you things, and then you start to doubt that you're capable of doing anything. As long as you have an imagination, there's nothing that can stop you. The only thing is there's a wall there. You got to figure out, how could I get around this wall? Exactly. If I can't go through it, can I go above it? I can go underneath it. From the side is something that I could do. That's a fact. And I think what's happened. I know what's happened now. People are stuck where they are, and they need a solution and strategy. Not something. Press button and we become rich, because that's why people fall into a lot of these
Get
scam
rich
artists.
fast scheme.
Get rich quick scheme, the lotto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I understand why people play the lotto, but after a while, you gotta realize why.
People do win though.
Speaking of lotto, the guy in Brooklyn, he came forward yesterday to claim his winnings. He won $244 million. A truck driver, and he took the lump sum. I think the lump sum was like $125 million.
Yeah, people do win though. I mean, people do win.
But ask yourself, how many persons that won?
I understand.
Right.
It's a probability.
Only
Right.
one person.
Right, or person, even if it's 10 people. Ask yourself, how many people that played?
Exactly.
Then you
Billions.
ask yourself, if they wanted to give that amount of money, how much money did they make on top of that?
Exactly. Like I know a guy. Speaking of houses, on the house that on the block that my mother lived, it was 3 foreclosed houses on there. And I remember when I first graduated high school, I was working my first job at McDonald's, and I was doing my little hustling on the side, and I was my own little businessman at the time, so I was making money. So I told my friends like, yo, like there's a couple foreclosed houses on the block. This was during the recession, so houses was cheap. So I was like, yo, we should buy these houses. They was like, yo, are you crazy? I'm like, why not? And I was like, it's 6 of us. If we each put in our money together, like say for example, we're making about $500 each a week, and 500 times 5, that's like 2,500. Right. That's enough to put down. That's enough to pay a mortgage every month. And I said, we could live in the house. We don't got to worry about parents and none of that. It was like, you're crazy. And what ended up happening was, it was some drug dealers. They broke into the houses that was foreclosed. They turned it into a trap house. Eventually, the government came. The bank seized it. They shut them down, and people eventually fixed them houses, and they bought these houses, and them houses are there till this day, and they look really nice, and we could have owned those same houses.
And ask how much the houses are worth. Your return on investment.
Now, because I know how much the house that my parents own is worth now, and that increased by a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
So I know that house at the time, the one doing cross street was selling for about $250, $300. I'm pretty sure now it's worth about $657.
Anytime there's a recession, you see what rich people are doing now. People with money who have the knowledge, they're saving their money for the recession, because that's when you could get property for cheap.
Exactly.
Because it's like a fire sale. People just want to get out, so they buy a house. They buy a house for cheap. You see, for black people, a recession is a bad thing. For rich people, a recession and problems is a good thing.
It's like a sale.
It's a sale. It's like a clearance sale. It's like
mercy.
It's time. It's like, okay, we'll give you how? We'll give you 10 grand for it. All right, 10 grand. I'll take it. You know, people would go and buy. They'll pick up like 4, 5, 6, 7.
So recession for rich people is like spring break, basically.
Yeah, it's a fire sale. It's a fire sale. You could pick up.
Sale.
You could pick up as many property as you want.
Crazy.
And why do you think a lot of our areas are being gentrified? Because a lot of those property was bought years ago during the recession, during that the economic crash, and they bought this house in, and now
the equity in the home makes it cost more, so they just borrow it to fix the house back up.
And there are people who are, like, for example, who are giving black people $15,000-$20,000 on the spot.
Yeah, because you're behind on your mortgage. You haven't paid the mortgage in 5 years.
Or $50,000, like, yo, listen, cash. Like, listen, here's cash for you to, take the cash so you can give me the spot. And that's what's going on right now.
And people are not understanding.
Yeah, that's real.
Right, because they're getting so much information. The attorneys are taking the money and trying to help. Okay, we'll submit this, we'll do this, and we'll try to hold it off. And they think, eventually they realize, I'm not gonna get in the house. Some people do, but most people don't, and then they wind up losing the house, bad credit, all kind of things happening.
That's real.
And then what happened? Now they renting, and you need strategies. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you need to do. You need to get the right information. If you don't get that, if you not listening to your uncle, your brother, or your neighbor next door, because that's what people tend to do. They take advices from people that's in the same boat as them.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right.
It's like, man, what should I say? Yeah, I did, man. I sold my house, man. I got 10 grand. Okay, so let's say you did something. What did you do with the money?
Bought me a new car.
And this is I'm gonna segue into this is why I'm passionate about financial gain, because honestly with me I tell people that I'm tired. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of having to hide from the bill collectors when they call in.
Not the only one, my brother.
You know, I'm tired of when I go on vacation, you know, and we want to buy something, we got to look at the price and see how much it costs. Can we afford to pay that? You know, and then when you come back, because you sacrifice to go on vacation, you come back, you come into more debt because, you know, anytime you go away, you're not spending what you said you was going to spend. You're going to spend more. You come back, you're stressed. Then you go to a job that you're not really happy, but it's a job that helps pay the bill.
Exactly.
So
and it pays you just enough to keep you, and you do just enough for work not to get fired.
Exactly. So you're disgruntled. You're not happy in this situation, but you're complacent because you're just making it. And then sometimes you're under the illusion because I get a credit card. I got a nice car because I had to work really hard to pay that.
Mercy.
But if something happens to you, then what?
Then what?
Then what?
That's real.
You know? And then plus now, before companies used to be loyal, they're not loyal no more. They're cutting back like crazy.
Why do you think they're not loyal no more?
Because
It's cutthroat.
because it's money. It's like we could save money. This store's not doing good. Let's shut it down. Because remember, business always have opportunities. Let's switch from this. Okay, we could close down and we could invest in this because this is. They know what's coming up. That's the next biggest trend, or what the next technology is going to be hitting. They get that information. They understand because they look at the market. They understand. Oh, this is going this way. All right, let's start investing here.
Wow.
We could keep part of this. Keep part of the company, and then we just close this down because it's not making money. So let's shut this down. But we here, we're like, but how are we gonna feed our family?
I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example. I used to work for Bender and Bender, the biggest Social Security disability law firm in the country. They had offices all over. They used to play those commercials doing Jerry Springer and doing Maury, Binder. Like I used to work for those guys, and the guy used to have the big cowboy hat. I used to work for them. And they thought they were so big that they wouldn't fail. Like these guys was making, they first started making $20,000 a year, $20 million a year, $50 million a year, $90 million a year. To the point they was open offices everywhere, commercials everywhere, all the time. And then they sold a part of the company to this firm out in Florida, and that company borrowed money on their company because you know the brand was so big they just pulled out that like they borrowed money on the company. They ended up borrowing $27 million on the company.
Wow.
And then Social Security was like, these people they're suing us left and right, making money off of these people because of their name, because people was just signing away their Social Security to this company because the brand name is selling, because they see it everywhere, so they think it's the best thing in the world. Like, nah, these people was basically running a scam on Social Security, so we're going to cut down Social Security. We're not going to prove all their cases, so their money slowed down. So now that their money slowed down, they couldn't pay back the debt as fast, and the debt started piling up, and the bills was coming in faster than the money was coming in, so they had to file Chapter 11. Now, they started doing reconsolidations, closing down a couple offices at a time here and there, the small ones first, then they kept the big ones open. The people that's been at the company for years, like I'm talking about 10, 15, 20 years, they're like, oh, I love this company, I've been here with this company for all my life, like, they're not gonna let me go. The company still got a good name, like everybody still knows the name. The company's never gonna fall. I'm staying right here to the very end until they make it back out of their bankruptcy and they're gonna be okay. I was like, you people crazy, I'm getting out of here. They was like, where you going? Are you sure you wanna leave? I'm like, yeah, like I got the education, I got the resume, I got the work experience, I'm out. I ended up finding a job paying double that amount that I was making there.
Right.
So the people stayed till the very, very end. Then one day, they woke up, the guy came in with his cowboy hat. He's like, everybody's done. Everybody's laid off. Laid off over 300 people at one time.
Mercy.
People went crazy. Grown men were crying that day, I heard. Crying at the cubicles.
Because the TSA, the payment. I believe a lot of companies, every year they plan to close down a certain amount of stores. The big companies. Because, remember, the bottom line is what's the end goal is to make more money, and if something's gonna hold them back, they're gonna cut it off.
It's crazy.
They're gonna cut it off. You know, the thing about it is that we should have two financial objectives. is that we need to have our current lifestyle, which still equals our labor, and our future lifestyle, which includes our investment.
Why those two, if I may ask?
Because our current lifestyle is what we do now. We work, we pay bills. But then sooner or later, you're going to have to retire or you get fired or whatever like that. What is going to keep that going? That's why your current lifestyle is your labor. But you're supposed to have the second objective is what are you invested in? So when you stop working, what money's coming in? A lot of people are dependent on Social Security. Those things are not happening no more. Your 401k and all those things are fine, but it's not enough. Most companies you have to look at multiple stream of income now. You can't just look at one. You have to have multiple stream of income. Because if one shut down, I had a good friend.
Wow.
He worked for one of the big hospitals. He was the accountant. He said, yeah, they had a meeting, and they was strategizing how could they diversify to get more streams of income coming from different sections. So they started putting a plan together to bring revenue this way. He said they wanted to open up, I think, either 4 or 8 new revenue streams for the hospital. And he said, this is a huge money-making hospital. They're looking to expand to get more revenue come in different direction. And I only have 2 forms of revenue coming in, which is myself and my wife. He said, if they doing it, I need to be doing that too. Because if you think about it logically, if you get sick, it's only your wife that's going to support you. And if you're struggling with two incomes, how you going to do with one?
That's true.
So we need to focus on 2. The labor, getting a job, doing what we got to do. Second, how are we going to invest for when we are not while we are working, but that investment is making money. Like you said, with the houses, when you were saying to buy the houses, and we could do this, what would have happened if you had they invested together? That house would have been accumulating, and its assets, it would have grew, and then now you would have been sitting there like, oh, I got several properties up. So if I retire, I don't even got to worry about it because I have asset money coming in without even having to do something because I did something with it from way back then, and now I'm recording the benefits of it.
And that was at 18. I told these guys that at 18.
At 18, and that's a big, to think that way at 18 is...
Right, because my father gave me the game early.
That's true.
But the thing is, like, I don't know. It's just like when I was 23, I told these people, I used to work overnight stock while going to school full-time in the day. And I was telling people, yo, like I believe in manifesting things. And I told them, yo, I'm going to get this car. Because they was all saying, yeah, we like the car. We ain't going to get it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get it first. They was like, no, you can't. I was like, how you going to get it? You're only 22. I'm like, all right, cool. So one day I pulled up in the car. And it was like, yo, how'd you do that? And I was like, I did my research. Like, I looked up the price. I looked up how much the payments was going to be. I looked up how much I got to put down to see how much payments, how much I got to work, how much I got to do. And one day I just went and I got it. But looking back at it now, if I was wiser, I would have got the house instead of the car. Like, even if I had to put down, even if I had to struggle to get the house, I would have held on to the house. But in actuality, I would need other people to help me pay the mortgage. Yeah. And that was my biggest hurdle, not being around people that was on the same level as me mentally.
If you were, you would have been so way off or way above everybody else. It's remember, no man is an island himself. Nobody get rich on their own.
Facts. It's a team.
It's a team effort. Everybody, all these big stars and Targets and all of them, they got people working that's promoting their business, that's doing all the stuff that needs to be doing. We think, oh no, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to do this. Nah, I don't want to lose. What are you doing? You know, you're going to sell hats out of your, even if you're selling hats out of your garage, then if you wanted to go further, you're going to have to partner up with people. You can't be, why do you think people that pick up, like you said, like you was giving me the background of how this started, it had other people that gave you the information, that promoted, that said, oh, come here and do this and do that. It wasn't just oh, I'm going to do this. Somebody came and said, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Come over here. And people started to.
Exactly.
It's a team effect. So that's a two objective. Now there's four reasons why people are in bad financial situation. And a lot of people are not really putting those together. And this is why I talk about financial education. The first one is inflation. People don't understand that inflation it's a silent killer.
Yeah. So can you define to people what inflation is?
Inflation is prime example when you go to the gas station. Like when you used to buy gas for $20, you used to fill up your tank
Fill up your whole tank.
back in the days.
Now 40, 45, 50.
Yeah. Now I only fill it $20 only fill up a quarter of the weight. That's inflation. Prices are going up, but your salary stays the same.
And the dollar's worth even less.
The dollar's worth even less.
So you need more dollars to equate to the things that you need to buy.
So another example is like if you're buying your groceries and they shipping it from wherever they're shipping it from. The person who's shipping it say, look, I gotta buy oil to ship your stuff over here or fly it over here. It's costing me more, so I'm gonna have to raise the price on you. So they say, oh, you're going to raise the price on it. Now, they ship it back and we're going to sell it to the stores. The stores say, well, we have to raise the price because it costs us more money to bring here. So we're going to charge you more for that. So who does that fall back on? The consumer. The big company, they're going to make the money off of us because this is the only way they can get their money back. So inflation is something that people don't look at. That's a disadvantage on our part where it works against us, but that's because we live in a capitalist society. So it's a good and bad thing. Second thing that puts us in financial difficulties is taxes. Right? Taxes is something that that most people. Do you know that that's the biggest expense that we have?
Yeah, taxes. Lucky for us, though, we got that tax exempt now.
The tax exempt
is lit.
Most people are filling out most people filled out their W-2 form and it's still the same way when they started working since they was 18 or 20 years old.
I know a guy that's been on the job for 30 years and he still don't own the place.
Exactly.
I'm like, hold his L, buddy.
Taxes is 1/3 of your income.
That's crazy.
Taxes, when you fill out a W-2 form, you tell the government to take the money straight out of your paycheck first. So if you make $50,000 a year, or less, whatever it may be, it's about $11,000 of that is gone.
Wow.
Right. So you make $50,000, but you're not really making $50,000.
Left with 39.
Exactly. And you're supposed to. The calculation is based on the 50,000, but you're only working with 39. So already, from inflation and taxes, you're already getting beat down.
And that's not even including health insurance.
Yeah. And then the taxes is three. It's if you look at it, the first 3 months, you're working for the government. The other 8 months, you're working for yourself. You're paying the taxes.
That's crazy.
Because the government is, remember, you are being overtaxed. You are being overtaxed. And you ask me, how do I know that? You get an income tax return.
Exactly.
The government is taking too much money out. That's why you get that return. Because we took too much money out of you. So now we're giving you back the money that we took from you. But the government made the interest that they made off your money, you don't get that back.
Exactly.
So they made a boatload of money off of you and gave you back what they took from you.
Like, yeah. And Negroes is happy with that. And they spend that money in a week and give it right back to them.
They give it. Now you understand. We give it right. We don't take that money and say, okay, let's invest it. Let's do this. Let's do that. We take that money, buy TV, buy phones, buy clothes, buy everything. So you're already under because with inflation and taxes, you're being killed. And you wonder why I can't, pay my bills and stuff because you've been doing that. The third one is debt.
Of course.
And taxes cause debt because of the same reason. Because so much money is coming out of taxes So debt, so the interest rate, student loans, mortgages, late fees, all these things are affecting you, and this is why you're falling even further behind because of those situations. And the fourth one is big business. They have it a way to make you spend money and say that you have to buy this now. You're scheduled to spend money every day, every week, every month, and every year.
Exactly. Money that you don't even have. That's why you end up in debt.
Exactly. So if you think about it, every year, every month is covered. Holidays, every month is covered. Look at this. Let's start from September. Labor Day, barbecues.
Yeah.
Reaching out, right? October, Halloween, candies, costumes. November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving. December, Christmas. January, New Year's. February, Valentine's Day. March, spring break. April, Easter. May, Mother's Day. June, Father's Day. July, 4th of July. August, back to school, and the cycle repeats itself.
Wow. And by the time you get to like January, that's when you hope for the income tax to catch up.
But you're not even catching up because you're buying a flat screen TV, you buy the latest phone. I mean, every minute. I mean, people don't hold on to their phone no more. Within 6 months, they switched up.
Every year, a new iPhone comes out. I remember a new iPhone used to come out every 2 years, every 3 years. Now every year it comes out.
Every year. I mean, we went from. I remember I had the Note 5. The Note 5, and then they came out with they jumped to 6, and then went straight to the 7, and that's when it was blowing up and stuff like that. And then they went to the 8 and to the 9, and then the prices are going up. I mean, I was trying to get the Note. It's like $900. I'm like $900.
Yeah, so like $1,000 for a phone now.
I'm like,
because it's $900 plus tax.
Right, because after you buy all the accessories to go with it and the insurance, that's over $1,000.
The things that for T-Mobile though,
you can finance.
Yeah, it's $100, for the new phone.
Yeah, but
no, you financing it into your bill.
Yeah, you find it. You see, the phone company, the cell phone companies became wise. They realized that they leaving a lot of money on the table because I'm pretty sure you guys remember. Remember when you used to go because of being a customer of them, they gave you, they said, okay, the new phone coming out. If you pay an extra $200, you get the new phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and the phone is yours. Now they talking about, no, you gotta pay full price. You're just paying $25, $40 a month.
Exactly.
And you paying that full $900, $600, $800 on the phone. And I was like, so, and then you're literally in a contract with them to pay that phone.
And if you break the contract, you owe the full price for the phone right away.
So they figured out we're gonna stronghold them, but we're gonna play mind games with them. Instead of them paying $800, $900 up front, we'll break it down to small increments. It won't seem like much.
That's with everything else. With a mortgage, with a car note, with almost everything, health insurance, all that.
So this is why I had partnered with my econ. It's a financial education system that teaches you 4 strategies in order to gain back your financial control again. First thing we do is teach you how to switch up your W-2. To switch up your W-2s and to minimize your taxes. Because MyEcon is basically a home-based business also. It teaches you, you could write off your cell phone, you could write off your laptop, you could write off a portion of your house to use as a business to say, this is my business, and then in turn, you could write that off because your W-2, when you get your W-4 form, once you have a home-based business, even though the government was telling you that, you need to have a home-based business. You need to start a business. Because the advantages of owning a business, the tax breaks that you get, is just as though you were Warren Buffett and those guys. You get the same tax breaks as they do. But as long as you just keep working a job and thinking that's going to get you over, as I pointed out, all these details about debt and big businesses and inflation and taxes, you'll never get over the hump. And what most people do, they say, oh, I got to get another job. I got to work another job. So now you working hard already. You working overtime. You're not spending less time with your kids. You're not spending time with your wife. You're not really enjoying yourself as much. And the only time the weekend you go out clubbing, spending money, and then you got to try to make more money back. You borrow money. That's not the way. What you have to become good steward. As the Bible says, you have to become good steward of the money. And this teaches you how to increase your paycheck by extra $200 to $500 extra. What could you do if because I remember when I used to work they used to take out a check out of my check. It's about $900 in taxes alone. So now, if you're getting $600-800 and they add up, you could tack on another $200. How could that help you? But what are we going to do when we get that $200 extra? We're not going to spend it on buying things. What we're going to do, we teach you how to pay off your debts. So let's say if you have a cell phone, you owe $800 on the debt. So you're paying $45 a month. You're paying $45 a month. So what we teach you is that extra $200 that you get, you take that $200, you add it to the $45, which we call snowball, and you cut that debt down. Wow. So instead of taking a year or so, you could do that in a few months by paying off that phone in no time. So these are the strategies. We have a credit repair system within the system that teaches you how to pay off all your debt. So if you have mortgage, you could pay, instead of waiting 30 years, you could pay off your mortgage in 6 to 8 years.
So we have about 4 more minutes left. So closing thoughts?
Amazing resources that you gave today, man. Amazing gems. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I tell people this. What we call is the income shift. You have to start changing your mindset. You have to start changing the way you think of things. In order for you to get ahead, you can't remain doing the same thing that you've been doing all along, because it's not working. It's not working. So if you want to make changes, you have to step out and start embracing the strategies that are working. And this is something that my econ provide. I can give my information.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so if anyone want to get in touch with me and want to get more information about it, they can reach me at 212-933-9701, 212-933-9701, or they could email me at blueprintfordebt@gmail.com.
And we'll put the link and information in the description of the video below.
Right. So you have to start changing your mindset. You have to start changing your behavior. You can't continue doing the same thing. What a lot of people want to do is that they want to make the money, but they don't want to change their behavior.
Exactly.
So once you start bringing in more money, you can't go out and start spending it. You need to knock off that bill. So if you start knocking off your car payments, your phone bills, all these things that's weighing you down, you start knocking out, then now we teach you how to invest the money into stocks, into bonds, into Apple, into Amazon. You could start buying stocks starting from $5.
Wow. Yeah, of course. And you could buy partial stocks too.
You could buy partial stocks. So we give you a true strategy to follow, step-by-step strategy. We don't jump from 1 to 4. We jump from 1, 2, 3. We follow the steps to get you out of debt so you could be financially free.
And what's the information one more time for the people?
My contact information, 212-933-9701, or you could email me at blueprintfordebt@gmail.com. So it's exactly as a blueprint. Blue, B-L-U-E, print, P-R-I-N-T, for, F-O-R, debt, D-E-B-T, @gmail.com.
And all information will be in the description below. So we thank you for watching tonight. Guys, shout to everybody that watched. Shout to everybody that subscribed to the YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/C for channel /The Real Word. That's www.youtube.com/C for channel /The Real Word. Shout out to everybody that follows us on Instagram. That's at thewordtv. That's at thewordtv. And catch us Thursday at 4 p.m. on the Brick Network. Check your local listings. Check your local cable listings. We thank you for watching tonight. I'm Sanders. You want to close out with a prayer?
Father God, continue to guide us and direct us in all our path. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
I want to say one thing for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really respect what you guys are doing. I think this is something that helps people to find solution to issues that they're going through. And
Definitely.
I really respect and admire you guys for doing that. And I'm glad I came here to be a part of this and to be able to add to what you're already doing.
Thank you, brother. It's history in the making. That's why we call it the real word, man. We trying to keep it real with the whole entire world and include the word of God. So everything starts with God. Good night, people. We love you. See you tomorrow.
Good night.